Okay, so we're now looking at this second image, and this one suggests to use the Polygonal Lasso tool, which you can. Make sure you're clicked on that layer, then go over to the Polygonal Lasso and start from the outside of the image. Now I can start from the outside and I can work my way around a section, and once I get to a good point, so for example if I just come around to about here, then I can come back outside the image and I can rejoin that and then press delete. Now obviously I could keep doing that. I can start from outside and I could keep coming around and I could probably end up with a really nice finish. And it does take time, but it does produce good results. So by all means feel free to do this way. Now if that's how you're going to do it, you can stop watching the video there. But there is another way. The other way is using the quick selection tool. Now this can get quite confusing, so please try to bear with me. Now we have a minus and a plus and a brush tool. I'm going to go to the plus brush. Now with that, I'm going to increase the size using the square brackets. I'm then going to do a few clicks to try and get the panda selected. Now, it will try and pick up on all the edges, and it will probably go over it just a bit. So we have to then try to remove certain bits of selection. To remove selection, we have to change this to the minus. And with the minus, we can then go back over certain areas and try and smooth out our selection. Now, I'm going to try and get rid of these obvious sections off to the side to begin with. I'm then going to shrink down my brush using the left square bracket, so I can get into these smaller areas. Now this is quite difficult because the colours are so similar, it's very difficult to see, but that there is not too bad. Now I'm going to try and get rid of these bits here, and I've just lost a little bit of leg, so I'm going to just get rid of this small section here, and I'm going to go back to my plus, click, and there we have a better selection. I'm just going to really look around this edge because I want it to be as good as possible. Now I can see there's a couple of small areas here that I want to minus, and I'm just trying to make this as neat as possible. Now once you think you're happy with it and you have got all the selection you want, I've just clicked there once and it's made that go a little wrong, but there we go. I'm going to go back to my minus once more, and now I'm happy with it. Once you've done this, you're then going to need to click Refine Edge. Now when I click Refine Edge, you can see there that everything else has now almost been hidden. That's because of this view mode. Now what I want you to do is change it so it's on black. Now when it's on black, it makes everything else quite easy to see. First thing we're going to need to do is just try and get rid of any stray areas. To do that, we're going to go over here to the rubber. Now with this rubber, we have a little minus inside it. Now this is normally for bringing things back, so we need to change it. We need to hold Alt, and then a little plus appears in the middle, in the crosshair. Now we're going to brush over that area and then let go. And as you can see, that's now disappeared. And that's good, that's what we want. Now I'm going over here with the edge detection. Now if I increase this radius, just watch what happens. It starts to try to feather out the edge, but it hasn't done a very good job. Unfortunately, a lot of the image has sort of become a bit almost grainy. So I'm going to hit the Smart Radius button. Now what that's going to do is try to detect on where the edge is. I'm going to drop the radius back down. Now, when I increase it ever so slightly, you'll see that it's not trying as hard to try and bring in elements of the background, but still it doesn't need much. So I'm going to leave that on 2.1 pixels there. I want to show you the shift edge. Now what this will do is it will detect the entire edge of the image and it will bring it in a bit. If I go left, it will shrink my selection, which is quite good. If I go to the right, it will expand my selection and you'll start to see more of the background. But because I've clicked Smart Radius, we can't see it too much, which is good. So I'm actually going to minus it just a bit. Now, the edge is still quite hard, and this is where we have things such as smooth and feather. If I increase smooth, it will try to smooth out the edge as best it can. If I increase the feather, it will almost fade the edge. So I've got to be careful with how much I do that because I don't want to lose too much of the feet. So I'm just going to increase that back to there, and I'm probably going to have it on about 2 to 3 pixels, something like that. Now the contrast, you may not see a whole lot of difference. So that is again because we have Smart Radius on, so that isn't going to matter. We can leave contrast for now. Now when you're happy, please click to decontaminate colors and increase the amount. This is going to get rid of any stray colors, any little dots and things we can't really see. Now the output we're going to change to new layer with layer mask, and we're then going to click OK. Now you'll see here that a new layer has now appeared and it has switched off the old layer, and that's fine. Now we have quite a good cutout there, but we still have bits that need to be neatened up, for instance down here. So to do that, what we're going to do is click on the layer mask. Now on the layer mask we can use a paintbrush, which is just here. Black on the paintbrush will actually hide things, but I don't want to do that, not everywhere at least, and white will bring things back. So what we're going to do to begin with is we are just going to go onto the black and we're going to remove anything that perhaps we still don't want. So I can see a very small section down here where the 2 legs aren't as defined as I wished. So I'm going to try to get rid of them. Now I know there's probably an extra bit of leg there, so I can switch this to white, increase the size of the brush with the square brackets, and just see how much of it I can bring back. So obviously I've got bits of the background in the way here, but I can still bring back quite a lot before then just neatening it up by shrinking my brush down and getting rid of any of those excess areas. Now obviously this is going to take time, and this is still going to end up being quite a long process if you want to do a good job, but that is the same no matter what. The edge for me is looking quite good. I'm actually very pleased with it, but if there are any areas I want to touch up, again I just use my paintbrush and I'm using black to hide things. So black just here for example, and white to reveal. But there we have it, a cutout panda. Now once this is done, again you're going to have to do a screenshot, so please remember to hold FN and press the print screen button, the N button, which is third in from the top right, before putting it into your PowerPoint.